us to endure. It's it's mind-boggling. Uh, but a lot of times I put like like a
Landers.
blinders on. I just like I gotta look straight ahead, because if I take the blinders off and I start looking around and seeing all the craziness, the different Bidens, the different people in uproar, I can feel it because I'm an empath. So I have to put the blinders on so that I can stay focused, so that we can make it to the finish line. And we've made it to the finish line now. So now we're resting after we've crossed over. So all we're doing now is sitting and getting our breath so that we can get the rest that we need, because the real work is actually going to begin, and we need to shift our energies and replenish ourselves so that we can go ahead and get the work done, because that's the big puzzle. The biggest piece of the puzzle is now to get the work done, because the fighting against us, these alphabet agencies that have been fighting against us, the humanity has now society. It's like it's done. So all the goodness and greatness that we've been uh uh waiting for, we don't have to wait anymore. It's just that people have to shift from the drama, because that stuff really don't exist in our world. I mean, I find uh solace and I find peace at home, because when I walk out there, and I only go when I have to go somewhere, and I come home. Like I go to the grocery store, go pick up my mail, these kind of things. Um, we do the minimum of what we have to do, but we're really an empath, that we're loners, and we have to like be alone for peace, because most of everybody's still caught up in the drama, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and a lot of it too. The work that we doing forces us to be isolated by most people,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times when you start telling the truth, and people find out they get tricked, they don't be mad at the person who tricked them. They mad at the person that exposed the trick. Why you tell me I was being tricked? I was living my life perfectly fine, not knowing I was deceived. Now I got to figure out something.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, I'm here to make them uncomfortably informed about their deception and how it worked, so that once they spiritual ancestors get a hold of the mechanics of the deception, it won't work on them no more.
Yeah. And that's what
Right.
happened this, past week or so. And I get it. I do. I get it. Um, I don't hate anybody. And I'm at peace with everybody. Even when you're not at peace with me, I'm at peace with you. I refuse to get into it with people about nothing. I mind my business. I don't try to mind nobody else's business. And I do a good job at minding my business, because I got some business to mind, and I mind my mind. So, and I think people should mind their own business. I
Now,
really
if they
do.
ran their own business, that would require them to work on their self-interest, and that's where the problem is. That's the biggest problem. But the next generation, they are ready to do the self work. These youngsters coming up now ready to work on themselves. They ready to activate their DNA. They ready to turn on their higher frequency energies, which we gonna be doing a cheat sheet on that for the sisters. So be looking for me and Empress to. We're gonna probably put we're gonna do a flyer first.
We can. I'll get Renee to work on it for us.
Okay. So what we gonna be talking about is we gonna be going into the mitochondrial DNA structure in the meditations and supplements to help activate higher output of energy from mitochondria. And just some of the things it's going to make you look more youthful as it, and then you're going to have a
But
glow,
do I need to
a
look a little
natural.
bit more youthful? You
No,
think I need
you got your glow already. Everybody
to?
don't got their glow yet. They don't know what to do to turn it on. So we got to
We
give
have
them a
to help
caboose.
them. So we have to
Yeah.
help us to help them to turn on their glow then. So when do you want to look at doing that?
Um, we had discussed that. I got to put together a few seats for us to post up so we can make it more simplified so people have visuals
Okay.
where they can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say in words of wisdom, the wow words of wisdom uh with folks tonight?
So wise words for today. When you got the blood in the right, ain't nobody do you wrong no matter how hard they try. It might look like they doing you wrong, but the universe gonna give you a benefit from it. In the downfall they was looking for you to take, my mama said they should have dug two ditches because they're gonna be in that first one. So as my mom would say, she quote her Bible scripture, say, fret not thyself because of evildoers. We ain't worried about them. We see them before they come. So if they can't trick me, they sure as hell can't trick you. Because I know all of the games. I done sat under the feet of all of the masters in the hood, at the barber shop, on the street corner, in the alley. All of the games, I know all of the kinds. I talked to all of the kind artists that ran the kind games while I was locked up to get the game on how the kind worked so I can know how to build a defense to the kind games.
Yeah,
So it don't matter what they running, we well insulated from the shenanigans.
yeah. We survived it. So because we survived it, there's no that's the end to it. That's the end. We're here now. We got we you didn't win. We won. Love always wins.
And
Greatness
that's
is upon all of us who have done the work. And
and it's my birthday right now, 11/10, born again on the clock. Just want to throw that in there right quick.
oh,
So it's on
11:10. Okay. It's eleven
is
ten, Rod's Earth Day. So you guys remember that, right? Um, so we here, I mean, it's very rare that you and I show up together. So if me and my son show up, there's a concern and there's something that we need to express to have people to uh listen to it, listen to the words of our experience, because experience is the best teacher. And I experienced something, and I don't look like what I've been through. That's for sure.
You tell me. I'm supposed to be scratched up like an old match dog right now.
Some good things are happening. It really are. Our matriarch website, courtesy of Copper Armor, and courtesy of Erica, and let's see. It said they detected some activity. So let's see. Oh, they want me to put that little puzzle thing in there. Hold on. I think I missed the puzzle. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Go back. There we go. All right. Verification complete. Okay. So, yes. So Erica and Copper Armor and, of course, Helena, uh, they all are working on the matriarch website. It's exciting. So, they're also creating, the, uh, the agenda to get the matriarchs cleaned up here. And so there is the 12 universal laws, the 12 steps to sovereignty, and the 12 traditions of sovereignty, and the 12 promises. So that our matriarch can understand that they have to shift their thinking. A lot of them are looking for seats, and what you're going to find out is you run the seats of all your offices. You are your government. And a lot of people are coming in with the concept of the old way of how government is. And we have to teach them. We have to show them different.
Somebody in the comments was saying, I'm glad y'all brought this positive message. I'm tired of the fear mongering. I'm so sick of the fear mongering.
Yeah.
Because they just, we not finna have no nuclear holocaust. It's not finna happen.
Nope.
We not finna have no world war, nothing. We not, all we doing is getting the infiltrators and the imposters out right now. We ain't finna go through none of that. Now, all of that, all the devil taking over the new world order. The new world order is the matriarch.
Yeah, there's a new world order
The
right
new
here.
world, yeah, the new world order. The new world order is the old world order, the
Yeah.
matriarch.
Yeah.
Because you got to go back to the beginning before the problem existed in order to get rid of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't physically move back in time, but you can move the conditions back to a prior system that's grandfathered in,
Mm-hmm.
like the grandmother clause. That's the big mama clause, that it's going to always be a sacerdotal seat. In Egypt, it was called the seat of Osset.
Mm-hmm.
In the Middle East, it was called the seat of Inanna. In Greece, it was called the Cleopatra seat. In India, it was called the Kalima seat. And I go on and on all over the world, but it still boiled down to the same thing. At the end of the day, Earth is a feminine planet, and the divine feminine in a right frequency will heal the earth for all of the destruction of man for the last umpteen hundred years.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't move back into that energy, if they don't activate that eight-tone frequency, that love frequency, to raise that vibration of the heart chakra to overtake the crown chakra, where that energy is radiant, right? These sisters got 60-foot aura. That means that if you 60 feet from her, you can feel her energy presence before you see her when she activated. In football terms, that's 20 yards in any direction, right? So those women create a grid around the planet like Tesla coils in a oracle, right? They use these trauma experiences to keep us in that fear mongering mode. But I don't got gloom and doom. I'm looking at in front of me. I got prosperity. I got love. I got peace. I got freedom. And all of that rests on the reestablishment of justice, that which is just, which is the perfect balance. So restore the balance by putting the power where the power belongs, the machine run the way it's supposed to run, and then we go back to having heaven on earth. That's all. That's that simple. They use all of the fear mongering and the scare tactics and the uh, threats to keep you vibrating at the lowest possible frequency. But guess what? We up now.
Mm-hmm.
We up now.
Mm-hmm.
They can't bring us down no more. They don't have what it takes. As Axel Foley said, there's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, no, I'm just so happy. Um, I think like my last, whatever it was that I experienced, uh, it just like it took me to the moon and the sun. It's like one big leap into the abyss. And I'm settled in my spirit. I
You was
really
taking a
am.
leap into the future of a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the way that you described it is telling us we're not diving off a cliff. We diving into the universe. They thought we was falling down, but we was rising up in front of their eyes like a cake in the oven with the light on.
Yeah.
All the kids around the oven watching the cake rise. And mom said, don't you bump my oven, make my cake fall.
Fall. That's right. And then when it's all said and done, we have to wait till it cool off and take it out and put the icing on it. Well, the icing is on the cake now. And we're getting ready to serve the cake up. Because if y'all know what's getting ready to happen across this planet because Big Mom is in her seat, y'all would come and you would be grateful uh that I'm here and the table is set. And the only thing I'm waiting for is the food to get done out of the oven. The cake is on the back porch, cooling off on the cake plate, ready to shake it up off that the baking the cake pan. And I'm grateful that the universe saw fit to entrust me with this task. And out of the trillions of people on this planet, that I was chosen with the bloodline and the blood right to usher back in the matriarch. And now I know why these men folks didn't like me or didn't care for me or just kind of stood back and in hopes that I would fall, in hopes that they could stay in power if they wouldn't help me. But I'm here to tell you it didn't work. You showed your hand. And now when you get ready, when your food supply get ready to be cut off, and that you thought that you had and you wouldn't share, that's all right, because it's going to dry up and you're going to have to come. And you're going to have to ask. And you're going to have to, because you're going to starve, because this system that you patriots are holding up, guess what? You can see it crumbling. It's already there. I don't even think it's on life support anymore. Because Big Mama is
Flatline.
here now. The matriarch is sitting in her seat, and you stiff necked patriarchs, Big Mama home. And her son is here to make sure she sat on her seat and reign forevermore. You won't be able to do what you've done to society and done to our children and take from us as women, disrespect us anymore. Hold back. Keep the secrets in your secret societies. You didn't have to come to my rescue. I just wanted to see if you would come and at least offer your sorry hands to help me. Because after all, I really didn't need your help. I just wanted to see, would you? And you didn't. And I've knocked 3 times and you didn't let me in, and I'll shake the dust off of my feet and I'll keep it moving.
I told you they
So,
wouldn't let me in because they said I ain't had no alphabet behind my name, so I can't know what needs to be known in order to exercise my birthright. They kept closing the door in my face. But y'all the niggas is suffering, not me, because I'm gonna make the best out of anything. I'm gonna get it from the dirt, from the fat of the land. Hell, they could send me to space and I'm gonna get it off the dust of the stars. It don't even matter.
I know.
You know, they can't put me in the condition that I can't um sustain myself with what I am.
Yeah.
They gonna need me sooner or later, like they gonna need you sooner or later.
Yeah.
I just don't want the ass kissing that's coming. That's the part I don't want. It's coming. I don't want it though. I don't want the suck ups. I don't want the ass kickers. No. But it's coming. When they realize what's really just happened, and then all of the ones that was full of hot air and smoke, what they call haughty, or as they say in Jamaica, them with them chest high, right? They about to be deflated. They about to be deflated because they can't stop.
Yeah. All is well.
So we about ready to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
I'm gonna leave y'all with these lyrics I wrote. I came through it all. Still I stand tall. The world want to know how I continue to ball. If the game need a boss, hell yeah, I paid the cost. Yaktown, Guerrillaville, land of the law. You see, I came through the storm where my anger was born. I'm Morpheus the general, and I'm changing my form. I'm changing my flow in the way this it go. And if you want the truth, it's a shame you ain't know. The game say I'm cold and I'm freezing your brain. Speaking like a G, it's so easy and plain. You can come with them gats like a tragically end, cause what I put on paper mean you died by the pen. The tomb that you in, a heavy ass baseline, woofers in the trunk. Trick warned you not to test mine. Give me sticky greens, the color of the white pine, or flip a bumpy face, or put me in my right mind. I stay ahead of the curve, only vodka make me swerve. I resurrect your mind if you sink into my words. I'm a baller in the daytime, a preacher in the night, a player on the dark side, a prophet in the night. Part-time father for my daughter, it ain't right. You give them too much game and they run away in fright. The real to make them fall up quicker than some bullshit immaculate game like a nigga top of cool whip. I came through it all. Still I stand tall. The world want to know how I continue to ball. If the game need a boss, hell yeah, I paid the cost. Yaktown, Guerrillaville, land of the law. You see, I came through the flames where I lived through the pain, my only relief, master the game. Same old same, some illuminated bullshit. I organize my own clique, I unload a full clip. Never back down. I make them bitches back up. Luciferian conspiracy got our minds jacked up. Feeding hidden messages to turn us into zombies. Being all we can be in Uncle Sam's army. They bomb me in my living room, resisting arrest. Most hated in the game. Call me Ron Artest. Then open up my chest. A cardiac shutdown. Kundalini rising. Ask them hoes what now? Don't frown now. Twisted bitches, haterism, pay attention to this here. Resurrected magnetism, despotism got me moving in for the final strike. Heaven on earth when the clock strikes midnight.
And they're real in about 30 minutes. Oh,
33 to be exact.
yeah, yes. Well, it was a pleasure for us to come on. It's not like we don't talk, but we very seldom come on together. So I'm glad that you encouraged me to do this tonight. And I'm grateful for you. From the time that we crossed paths, I knew that we would end up crossing over together, and that I had the protection that I needed and the person that could tell me what I needed to know uh, along the way. And I thank you for ushering me right to my seat. I thank you. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Francis, you got anything to say? Before we close? You have to unmute if you have anything to say. TikTokers, I know I haven't been, and YouTubers, I know I have not been on lately. That's because sometimes it's best to be quiet. I don't have any other reason, but there wasn't time for me. It wasn't necessary for me. I don't have to be on YouTube and TikTok all the time to be advertising, or some things I just don't care to TikTok and YouTube about. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's best to be quiet and work in silence, and pop my head up, every now and then, to let you know Big Mama is still around, and that she doing what she's supposed to do. She cooking. Something in the kitchen is cooking on the stove. I know I got to get back to the kitchen. I know y'all enjoyed that, and I will. But Big Mama's out getting some stuff together for everybody. And so I'll be back in the kitchen soon. But in the meantime, you better be working on yourself. And if you ain't and you don't need to know, you need to get on into the 12 Steps of Sovereignty classes. And we're going to be talking about that on this Sunday while we in the background taking breaks.
This is why they ban hemp oil. Hemp oil was a carrier oil. You rub it on your skin and it'll help you to remove the plaque buildup in the brain. But anyway, so the saturated fat of the bovine beef is why we didn't eat beef. This is why the cow was sacred in India. They would use the product of the cow, the urine, the milk, the dung, the blood, but they didn't eat the meat of the cow because the meat of the cow was unfit for human consumption because it causes that plaque buildup in the brain over time. Whereas goat and lamb, that's what you call a omega rich unsaturated fat or polyunsaturated fat, which is like putting a clear liquid oil through the brain instead of lard. So instead of the plaque, which looks like lard in the brain, the clear liquid can also serve as a carrier to break down the larger oils and help get the plaque from beyond the blood-brain barrier. But that go into the healing of age-related disorders, and that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, but that's the difference in the meat, right? And pork became taboo because the class of people who was tasked with farming the pigs used to smell like they farmed pigs. So we ain't want them around. Remember, bathing was only allowed in the royal class. Regular people had to go bathe in the river if they was going to bathe, and rich crocodiles or hippopotamuses if you in the Nile. But if you in the Mississippi, you was missing them big ass alligators. So we didn't bathe as often in those bodies of water, but we did rituals in them. And for some reason, during the rituals, we was never accosted by those predator animals. Then after a while, you had what we call Sobek priests, which is crocodilian priests. And they would ride the backs of the crocodiles into town. And the crocodile don't bother nobody. Priest go in and get his goods, come out, ride the crocodile back into the swamp.
Thanks. Peace. My phone died on us.
That's what he figured. But look, that's why in the Gullah Wars in Florida, they burned the forests. Because those Sobek priests, they could navigate and control alligator attacks. And they used to stick them on the colonizers. They knew them by scent because they didn't smell like we smelled. Because they ain't from where we from. So the alligator knew the imposter. They had to train the alligators to eat us, and they called that gator bait. Because the alligator wouldn't eat an indigenous person to this land until they was trained over generations of gator baiting to eat us.
Sure.
They smell the enemy, and the enemy throw our babies out there because they helpless. And they know the baby don't know he can control the alligator because he wasn't raised as a Sobek priest, so he just gonna be food for fodder.
You know, it's funny you said it, Rod. I just put out the gator teeth and stuff. I was going to show him something. Go ahead, G.
The original anointing oil was the cerebral spinal fluid of alligators and crocodiles, depending on where you was on the planet. The olive oil is what you call a viable facsimile of the original.
I'm from
Under the Sobek priest, the anointing oil was given to the other priests because it meant that your spine gonna be straight, you're gonna be upright. Let that sink in. That's the symbolism of the gator, the straight spine, but you're gonna be upright. This is when you look at Big Mama Tawaret and you see she standing upright with a gator tail. Right?
Sure, G. You saying it, I'm like, oh man, you going in there now. And I got a statue over there with her standing up with the gator tail holding the baby up. You divine with these. This is alligator spine. Well, alligator, the not spine, but the shells on his back.
I thought it was a potato chip.
You divine with them. You divine with those shells.
Yeah.
Yo, hold it up longer than a half a second, bro. Put it. Hold it there. Yeah, do a slow turn. Wow, that looked like
the shell on the alligator. This is one of the shells on the alligator. I got some alligator teeth. This ain't the alligator tooth right now, but I got some alligator teeth. But then he started talking about the Sobek priest. Everything he said was absolutely right. We were really, really cool, the alligators and crocodiles back in the day. In honesty, we look at them as our ancestors because they're still part of that dragon, that dragon clan or dragon class. The alligator is the enforcer of Olokun, but the serpent is the messenger of Olokun.
Yo, could you show us some alligator teeth?
Yeah, most of them.
Those were the Nagas priests he's talking about, the serpent priests or the serpent kings, right? Remember, if you go through history, there's no great king in our culture that's not also a great priest. Whether you go
say that again. Say that again.
There's no great king in our cultures, the original cultures, that's not also a great priest. Right? And if he's going to be a great king and a great priest, he also has to be a great general.
Ooh.
So I got it tied in copper, tied in knots in copper, but and then we'll put a stone on the end of it. But usually you got a hole in here. Now this is a crocodile. This is from Africa, and this is a lion. I can't show you the other ones I got, but and then we got skins from albinos.
No, slow down, Orisha. Do the crocodile tooth again, because that's like a dragon tooth. Hold it slow, brother. Yeah, do a slow turn on it.
Shout out South Africa to the Quake clan.
Look, the Sobek priests used to weave those teeth in their necklaces, and they used to all be tied together with knots.
You can't really do it now because they're trying to take it. Yeah, I don't have no. That's the only kind of teeth I got is crocodile teeth. But yeah, everything because all of it is ritualistic. So yeah, I can't. Some of the stuff we don't really talk about too much.
And do a slow 360 with the lion tooth.
That's not a lion tooth. I was just playing. That's not a lion tooth. So it's another crocodile tooth.
hold both of them up real slow so we can get an idea.
I just got reprimanded for that. I'm not. I just realized. But what we do have is some python skin. Some stuff. Like when it starts getting to exotic different things or whatever, they can you know what I'm saying, get you for that. So my apologies, 1,000 pardons. But yeah, each one of them things is powerful. Like I said, we got a clan. Shout out to the Akoi coin. The Khoikhoi, I might be saying it wrong, but they're clans in all around, tribes all around the world is watching us and looking for information and trying to connect with us. And they don't mind giving us that juju. When you're talking about, that's what I'm saying. Like you say, when you're putting all your juju in your bag, what's the first thing you do? You put everything in your bag, right? And after you put it in the bag, you seal the deal, right? And tie the knot. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but you got tobacco in it?
That's called cinching, and that's called cinching the hand. It's a mojo turn.
So I say
they call the bag a mojo hand. You ain't ever hear somebody say they got their mojo hand working?
Always.
Oh, you done started something now, Chief Rod. Tell us about High John the Conqueror root.
Listen, High John is the Christianized Ogun energy.
Wow.
Low John is the Christianized Legba energy. But those are ancient rights that we had on the land, and we wasn't leaving our culture without taking our protection with us. And some of the church mothers still use High John and Low John to this day. Some of them use to mop their floors, all kind of stuff, but it's all kind of power in that. And it's also when you start using your ancient cultural practice, you start activating codons that give you more insight into the use and practice that you're participating in. In other
Special
words,
acknowledgement
yeah.
to, I want to acknowledge Muddy Waters, who did a song. I'm going to do a small clip. Muddy Waters, Orisha Stone, you know about Muddy Waters?
I grew up in Gulfport. I used to work at one of the blues clubs.
Okay, now. All right. He an old man up in here.
No, I used to be a chef
So
with dark
it's a
cloud
song
blues.
called Mojo. Got my mojo working.
Who created that one?
Hold on, let me look.
I'm gonna look that one up too.
It's called I Got My Mojo Working. It might be Muddy Waters.
Yeah, they stay to my hot Johnny and old blues.
Oh, that's that is Muddy Waters. Oh, okay. Let me try to pull that up. Hold on a second.
Play a little bit of that one.
Yeah.
You
Okay, hold on.
know, Muddy Waters was the term in reference to the Mississippi River after the wars.
Wow.
It also is a tribal way of saying troubled waters. And then I'm telling you that there's trouble on the land.
Ooh.
All them blues singers' names got a message in their name that's tied to our tribal.
Dude,
Wow.
tying of the knots. I say. Yeah, the knots are intentional, OG. Energy portals.
You know what, family? Imagine tying knots with copper. Copper, yeah. Tying knots with not the solid copper, the one that's real frayed. You know what I mean? It's softer, so it's easy to make a knot. The extension cord, copper. The copper from the extension cord. Imagine making a knot like that, then putting that around a crystal. So all of you who wrap crystals, imagine having knots. I'm just
Yeah, that's
thinking
what
about it.
it's past the energy. The knots of Anansi or the web of Anansi is energy being flowed through it. Copper, exactly, there's energy being flowed through it. But it is a special ritual. Like when you're using a certain kind of rope, it is a certain energy that flows through certain kind of cloth too, certain kind of ropes, cloths or fabrics, silk fabrics and everything else. So each one of them it does or invokes his own spirit. When you're talking about the keys of Solomon, he's tying knots to some of his different things. Like I say, some of them are buried, some of them are cast down the river, some of them they are buried with certain things. It depends on what kind of juju you're working. So
Keys of Solomon is 72 keys, right?
yes, sir.
It's 72 codons, right? Let that sink in.
Hold
Each
on.
one of the keys of Solomon is access to a specific codon on the DNA in order to activate a particular signature energy. The translation of the name of the God that or the angel that restricts the codon is the angle that the light is striking it from in order for it to be under the dominion of that angel or angle of light. It's reading the energy. That's just metaphysically speaking. We don't really get into too much metaphysics, but metaphysically speaking, the 72 Goetia, which is the 72 spirits, which is also tied to the 72 elders. It's all talking about information in genetics passed off under the pretenses of religion and mysticism. But it's genetics. This is why you see the two serpents coiled around the staff, which is representative of the DNA helix. But remember, the straight path is down the middle. Now we all over there with Israel regardless in the middle pillar. Right? Because the middle pillar, the light can't go through from root chakra to crown chakra if the pillar ain't straight. Right? Then you got to know the difference in the left-hand path and the right-hand path. Don't take sides. Walk the middle path.
We're gonna talk about the left hand.
Okay. Now we're going in deeper water. What's Chief Rod? What's up with them sacrifices?
Which ones?
Why do they gotta sacrifice blood for certain rituals to manifest? To get like who they feeding?
The sacrifice of the blood originated with people that saw us as food, but it ended up because there's a universal rule: the blood of the righteous shall not be spilled in vain. So whenever the blood of the righteous is spilled, the justification is the catalyst of the sacrifice. And that's why they tell you that the blood of the saints to be spilled across the land. The saints are just the ones who have no contracts. They're not bound to anybody. Their blood is free to flow. So you can sacrifice them if you can get them in the right angle. Corrupt their morality to diminish their soul power.
You know what just popped in my head? I don't know where this came from. Suppose they were talking about, instead of literal sacrifices, they were talking about Menses blood, maybe from young, clean sisters.
That's exactly what it. Chief,
That was
Virgin
right.
Menses
So
blood.
if you go to where Credo Mutwa's little village was, where he was staying at, not too far from there, there's this little body of water. And that little body of water is called the Yoni of the earth. And in that body of water, the old Zulu princesses used to do rituals there. In the one of the rites of the passage for the girl is her first missus. She had to experience them in that body of water. That was what you call a earth rite for the women. It was one of the earth rites. They started slaughtering them on their way to the water hole, because if they let them get to the water hole, they was experiencing strange phenomenon which caused harm to the soldiers attacking. They couldn't let the girls get to the water hole. So this is why they isolated him off to himself. He was the caretaker. As the high priest of the Zulu nation, he was the caretaker and the watchman at the post to watch over the Yoni of the earth.
This is getting deep, because in Chinese, when like I had some Chinese coworkers, and their wives were taught only to give the virgin chickens, cook virgin chickens for their husband, not chickens that have had sex. Chickens that have sex don't have as much healing energy. So they would go into Chinatown and get virgin chickens. So I'm wondering now, do we have it all convoluted? Maybe the blood sacrifice was virgin women's Menses blood would be more powerful, because even Chinese say, how do I get the vital force? The vital force from a virgin. And what the Chinese would do is put a raisin. They would check with the parents and put a raisin into the virgin daughter's yoni, and let the dried raisin get saturated with the virgin's juices, and then they would sell the raisins.
Okay, so that's unpacking a whole nother bag right there. Because
go ahead, Chief. Go ahead.
The chemistry involved in the vaginal fluids differ with age. A mature woman that have had multiple sex partners, her vaginal fluid is not going to be the same as the girl that's only had one sex partner. Biochemically, like ratio of chemicals that her body produce, most of it will come out as spermicides and other defensive agents. As she have different partners, she will develop more and more different strains of spermicide. Because it's foreign to her body, she need to fight it off. So her vagina goes into full defense mode the more she's introduced to different sex partners. And
Wow.
it take years to reverse that. It don't happen in 2 days or 6 months. And this is why most people are addicted to relationships. They can't be by themselves for a year and work on themselves for a year. Right? They break up, they go straight into the next relationship.
Why is that? What they addicted to?
The chemical changes. It's the chemical changes. That when the chemistry alters, it changes the behavior. These women never take the time to heal. So every time they replace the old guy with a new guy, he's worse to them. It's not that he's worse, it's that she didn't heal from the last guy. So every expectation she had for him, she's holding this new guy for with the new set of expectations that she got for him. Psychological overload. Right? This is why they call them sexually transmitted demons. When you remember, when you get to the root, the demon is a thought form, an egregore, that's empowered by repetitively empowering it by its usage. Right? The behavior pattern that's described of the egregore manifests itself as a mental disease or defect, and you can read about all of them in the DSMV.
Yo, Chief.
What's the DSMV?
Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of the Psychiatric Association. They got 1 through, I think, like 7 or 8 now, but they all covered a different time period during the evolution of psychiatry and psychology on what was classified as a mental illness. Like they took it out that jealousy is a mental illness, right, and a learned behavior.
Sure.
It's because it's an egregore and it's taught. In other words, somebody tagging you saying you hit with the jealousy bug.
Wow.
If you go look up the term dementia praecox was the scientific term for jealousy as a sub part of schizophrenia.
Wow.
Yo, Chief. He was asking about the blood sacrifices, and people dabbing all sorts of stuff, so everybody ain't on the same page, right? The one under the temple of the feather serpent, he eliminated blood sacrifice. You're supposed to bloodlet yourself. It's not a sacrifice. Sacrifice is giving something of yourself. You see what I'm saying? So everybody chose everybody else to be their sacrifice, and that's basically the problem of Solomon. Solomon, like we praise Solomon, but Solomon's really an asshole. Think about this, Chief. Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines. How many kids did Solomon have? How many kids? Huh?
Hundreds.
What did he do with them?
His kids.
We were just talking about the 72 or those the lesser keys of Solomon. He was feeding them to legions of demons and dragons and all these different things. He was using his blood. His children were his blood.
Okay, now pay attention. Remember, a demon is a thought form. In order for him to give one of his sons to a demon, in order for that thought form to manifest, it got to have a description to it. You ever notice that every angel in the angels got a description to their name?
Most of.
Right? It's the same thing with the demons. They all got a description to their name. And then if you pay attention, a lot of demons got L on them and a lot of angels got L on them.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going there, Chief. I was going there.
Okay, now, what you're looking at is when they saying he's giving sacrifices, he's training them in different stuff. All of the children can't learn the same thing and be the best they can be if you're a good father. And remember, Solomon was the wisest except for who? At the time he was there, he was the wisest of them all, right?
That's what they say, y'all.
Okay, now if you're looking at it from the eyes of the wisest of it all, he would have to have enough sense to treat each one of his children individually in their individual capacity according to their nature. He's not going to raise all his children the same. He's going to teach them all different stuff that's going to help them best throughout their life. In other words, he infecting them with different thought forms, different demons, different ideas. So they all got the same ideas.
No, I was just going back to the DNA thing when you talk blood sacrifices and DNA and back to that whole the DNA connection to the ancestors and everything else. Some of them eat blood, but the sacrifice is supposed to come from yourself. Just like he was saying, the woman's sacrifice comes from her menstrual, but the man's supposed to be blood-led.
Right.
Now people use other people's blood.
Right. When you use another as a sacrifice, that's called using a proxy. One in the place of one. Now remember, if it's not an emotional attachment, it's not a sacrifice. You don't even have to sacrifice a person. You can fast and sacrifice hunger.
Ooh, or sacrifice. Ooh, that's hot. That's hot, Chief. I like that.
Yeah. That's what the whole 7 deadly sins, being aware of them, is. If you're a drug addict, you can get control of it by periodically fasting from the drug. If you don't want to go through the 12 steps. Right? If you're a jealous-hearted person, what makes you jealous, you got to study that and find out where the disease infects you at. Ooh. In order to break free from it. Right? If you're a glutton, you fast from food. If your emotions is off balance, you fast from food. Why? Controlling your appetite, control all of your base desires. Your base desires is the thing that's hardwired into you as instinctive behavior. It's instinctive to follow the 7 deadly sins.
So, Chief, question. Montauk Chia says one drop of man's sperm is equivalent to 100 drops of blood. So if we're really going to punch the pedal to the metal on sacrifice for the energy, wouldn't it be sexual fluids?
Where do the sperm come from? Now remember, the production of sperm, they tell us it's in the testes. It's not. It's in the cerebral spinal fluid. If your cerebral spinal fluid that went from clear silver to the gold elixir, then your sperm is desired above all others, because now you're working with enlightenment. Woo! Right? This is the difference between the royal class and the peasant. The peasant never develops himself into the royal class. That's why he can't never be there, because it's about character and quality of person. Nobody's going to take the time to teach the peasant how to behave as the king. So even if his ambitions was so great as to conquer and become the king, 9.9 out of 10, he's going to become a despot, a rogue king, a king that don't trust nobody. He's scared his empire going to turn on him on every day. He going to rule by force and force alone. No compassion. Do as I say and do as I say only, and anything else gonna get you bust upside your head. Right? And his reign is going to be short because his tyrannical ways is going to irk the ires of the grown men in the society who say, we ain't putting up with that bullshit. Because the king can tell men that he no longer can have his daughter or his wife because the king want her now. How many grown men gonna put up with that? And you never know the hatred and ire that you have wreaked once you behave in that pattern as a despot. So now when your assassin come, you done did so much dirt, you don't even know where to look to find out who sent them. If you survive it.
I got a question to the sisters, because I heard when you practicing seminal retention, the smell that the brothers actually have the smell of the testosterone or the sperm come through their pores. Could you touch on that, Chief?
We talking about pheromone responses. It's the same with the woman. Look, a man might not even be attracted to a chick, but let him get the sense that she ain't had no sex in a while. His whole primal instinct kicks in. It's the same with the woman. If she feel like he's a qualified male based on character and disposition, she don't care if you married. She can tell if your wife been holding out on you. And she's gonna exploit it. Because it's a tactile sense. Let's go, okay, so you look at it like pheromone comes from the olfactory, is tied to smell, right? Frequency touches aura to aura, is close proximity, right? So now, if the pheromone faculty is activated, and you also feel in the energy. Now, remember, women naturally intuitive. Those two things gonna tie her into her what am I intuiting drive, because she's gonna have what you call 3 points of triangulation. Right? The smell, the sensation of the energy, and intuition. 3 points of convergence. And now all she have to do is focus on what it feel like, and then she'll know what it is in short order. And the women are not taught to tune into their frequency like that because it disempowers the lower grade of male. And they want the lower grade of male to pollute the dating pool of the qualified women and make them become disgruntled with their selective options. It's all by design.
This. We went from knots to what do we call this now?
Contracts, knots.
Oh yeah, this would definitely be. Oh, this is actually ultimate sacrifice. What is more of a sacrifice than to allow your energy, your divine energy, to be compressed and cultivated up the spine? That's a sacrifice of your lower self. Damn.
Right. So when you're looking at sacrifice got rules to it. So you got what's called primary sacrifice. That's self-sacrifice. The highest form of sacrifice known to man is self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice don't have to be killing yourself. Self-sacrifice can be you realizing the state and condition of your family and applying yourself to a craft until you develop the mastery skills to change your condition to the level that you can raise all of your condition. That's a sacrifice. If you want to be the greatest at something, Michael Jordan didn't just walk out on the basketball court and be Air Jordan. He had to practice and practice and practice. And when Kobe Bryant wanted to find out what made Mike great, what did he find out? Practice. So he was the first one there and the last one to leave. What do the hustlers say about the block? I'll be the first on the block for the cheese and be the last mother to leave. Sacrifice. Put in the work.
I think you got a song, Chief Rod, because you got some bars tonight, bro.
I was quoting Scarface. Brad George, one of my favorite all-time rappers. Right? But when you understand self-sacrifice, you can only sacrifice yourself to an agenda that you can reach, or it'll be rejected. That means you won't put in the work to achieve it because your perception has been blinded to the fact that your potential is infinite if you're willing to work for it. But don't nobody want to work for it because we've been conditioned with fast food and microwaves. That everything's supposed to get to the table in a matter of minutes.
Wow.
So now, when it comes to spiritual things, which the spirit don't play the short game, spirits play the long game. This 6,000 year rule of the devil played out over a 6,000 year period. That's forever to one of us. We wasn't here in the beginning, and we hope we could see the end. Right? So the plan was being played out with all of these different actors over 6,000 years with the same rulers at the top. The question is, how did they hold their power? It's continuous evolution.
This was a fantastic show. I want to thank you again, Arisha Stone. I want to thank you again, OJ Yemen. Let me pull this up.
While you're doing that, out of all the topics, nobody ever asked me about knots before.
Really?
Nobody never asked me about knots before. So much stuff to go into the knots.
It's deep.
Right? Yeah. Like, used to use knots to tie two tribes together in symbolism as in truth.
I see.
This is what the marriage ceremony of tying a knot is about.
How come nobody ever talked about knots? That's like pre-K 101. You got to know about knots. You got to tie your shoes. Imagine if we knew how to do the knots on our shoes to accomplish what we want so we could walk into our destiny.
I see.
So that you got to know that the shoe that you putting on is the shoe that the person who is in the energy that receives what you want, this is the shoe that they would be wearing as they walked into their purpose. Intention matters. Remember, everything is a wave until you give it some attention, then it collapses into the particle.
Woo!
So when